I don't know how it was like. Oh, so it is live streamed. I suppose we should stop talking now.
So, Jai Jinand, everyone. Good to have you all again, and Jai Jinand, Sadhika ji as well. We are here on our special session today. This is the second session that we had promised. We had set up 2 sessions. We had the first session yesterday, and today is the second session. We are also live on YouTube, so you would get the recording and the link. Jai Jinand, everyone. Good to have you all again, and Jai Jinand, Sadhika ji as well.
Jai Ho.
Sorry, Jai Ho. So with that, I think what we're going to do today is, while we have a few folks still joining in, we are going to change the format a little bit today. And what we're going to request you all, of course, I'm going to mute all of your lines so that it becomes a little bit easy. But if you do have a question, and we're going to spend the next 3-4 minutes on it, we would request all of you to use the chat feature and post any questions that you would like to ask Sadhika ji today. One, based on what we heard today. I mean, what we heard in the first session yesterday. 2, more importantly, it could be any other topic. आपके मन में कोई भी और जिज्ञासा हो कि आपको लग रहा है कि ये समझने से मेरी कोई मन की शंका दूर हो जाएगी. So what I would request at this point is, please go ahead, use the chat feature. We will see what questions everybody has put together, and then Sadhika ji will decide how to include that in the theme of the presentation today. Right? Again, I would want to tell you, कोई भी क्वेश्चन इज अ गुड क्वेश्चन. सोचिएगा मत 2 बार कि ये क्वेश्चन मैं पूछूं कि नहीं पूछूं. Every question is a good question. It could be, it's not intimidating to anyone. So please go ahead and start adding questions on the chat. And then as your question comes up, if we need more clarity on that question, or we would like you to elaborate more, then we will also unmute your line.
Okay. So by then, when we come, means first, we can start by the time, okay?
So, yeah, so Sadhika ji, maybe with that, maybe we can start the beginning, and then we'll do. Neelam ji, is there anything that you wanted to add before we begin today? You can unmute yourself now. Now, let me send you again a request to unmute.
No, I think we should go and start. Then as questions come, then she can read it.
Okay. Sadhika ji, over to you.
सतगुरु की कृपा अनंत अनंत किया उपकार, लोचन अनंत उघाड़िया, अनंत दिखावन हार गुरु जी, अनंत दिखावन हार. समय के ज्ञाता, जगतनाथ, जगत जीत अरहंत वीतराग परमात्मा निर्ग्रंथ सदगुरुदेव आगम वाणी को भाव वंदन प्रत्यक्ष अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से मिल रहे सृष्टि के सभी षटकाय जीवों से सहयोग के लिए आभार आभार आभार। उपस्थित सभी भव्यात्माओं की भव्यता को प्रणाम। हम सब जैन हैं, we all are Jains, we know that. And just to know and be a Jinn is the fundamental, we can say, the principle of being a Jain. Now, knowing what is that quest? Whoever who is a seeker, a knower, and we can say the one who has started his voyage, his journey to self-discovery, is in true essence a Jain. He can be of any caste, any creed, any background. Being born in a Jain family is not the only condition to be a Jain. Whoever has started on this quest of knowing himself is a Jain. The one who wants to obtain this eternal knowledge of this, persistent and yes, the continuous generating universe around us and within us is a Jain. And Jain is a devotee of Jinn. हम बोलते हैं जिन भगवान. Who is Jinn? जिन कौन? जिन वो जिन्होंने सब कुछ जान लिया. The one who has acquired this knowledge, already acquired, and who has known everything. After that, nothing is left. Nothing is left to know, and nothing is left worth knowing. And devotee of such souls is a Jain. And just we need to understand that knowing self, knowing oneself, is knowing all. Acharang Sutra says, Je ajatham janai, se bahiya janai. Je bahiya janai, se ajatham janai. Yani, the one who knows his inner self, his real self, he knows all the external universe. लोक कहाँ? भीतर. तो जिसने अपने अंतर के लोक को जान लिया, उसने बाहर के लोक को जान लिया. और जिसने बाहर के लोक को जान लिया, वो भी अंतर के लोक को जान लेता है. But knowing the complete universe in all the areas, in all the spheres, it's a bit difficult. So it's better one goes on the journey of knowing the self. And knowing self is knowing all, and knowing all is mastering all. And that is the Jinn. And the most important thing is, Jinn, ye jo Jinn hue, we call them Arhant, we call them Vitarag, we call them Keval Gyani, and in some cases we call them Tirthankar. Because what we got from all our Tirthankars. And now what we are trying to know, the sutras are given by the last Tirthankar, Prabhu Mahavir. And Prabhu Mahavir, he gave us various ways. He just, instructed us. He never asked us to follow him. Mahavir Prabhu never asked anyone to follow him. What were his words which he repeatedly spoke? Anyone who used to go and ask him, Prabhu, can I go ahead on this tapasya? What would he say? Aha suham devanupya. Ma padibandham kare. Everywhere, all Tirthankars, what do they used to say? Aha suham devanupya. Ma padibandham kare. Aha suham. ये जो जिंदगी है, this life, it's beautiful. What did the word use? Devanupriya. For a human being, Devanupriya, because this life, this human life is dear to even the Dev, all the Devtas also. Because to liberate oneself from this circle of life and death, one needs to be in the birth of a human. One needs to be in this physical body of a human. And then only he can end up this cycle. So he used the word, very nice, beautiful word, Devanupriya. Ahasuham Devanupriya. This life, this moment, it is Ahasuham. It's so beautiful, and it's we can't even describe this with the word. He just described it with an this exclamation, aha, wah, aha suham devanupriya, ma padi bandham kareha. Do whatever you want to, whatever is dear to you, whatever sounds good to you. Just remember one thing. What? Don't get attached. Don't get possessed. Ma padibandham, pratibandh. Pratibandh mat kar. Bandh, connected. Pratibandh is the stronger one. Again and again. So don't get connected. Don't get attached. Don't get possessed. Don't get possessed. And how do we get this? How do we get this knowledge? Or, as the question says, how do we get this knowledge, the Gyan, the Samyak Gyan, and the Samyak Darshan? Or Prashna ye hai, the question is, which comes first? Here nothing is first. तीनों को त्रिरत्न कहा गया, कोई priority नहीं है. Just a simple thing. If you start anything in your conduct, for example, we are very fearful. We are very afraid. We are very afraid of many things. We are very fearful. And just, some people feel they get very much negative thoughts. What should they do? What mantra should they chant? So what they can start with is, they can start with their language. That is a part of our conduct. So he or she, they just need to check their language. Once they start checking their language, whatever they speak, inside and outside, if that includes just the positive words, no negative words, no depressing words, no comments, no excuses, no complaints, once he or she, he starts doing this in his code of conduct, obviously his perception is going to change. His understanding is going to change. So all these three, they can't be like prioritized. They just can't be numbered as one or two. Sometimes what happens is you get a knowledge. You get a knowledge from the enlightened ones, and then by that knowledge, you start viewing and pursuing things around you with that right understanding and perception. Sometimes it's the other way around also. You see something, as you must have heard the stories of so many Keval Gyanis, like Bharat Chakravarti. He was in front of the mirror and he was like decorating himself. He was like, putting all the jewelry on his body. Ilaichi Kumar, he was just like Nami Rajarshi. He was hearing the sounds of the bangles. So sometimes it happens is, there comes an incident, there comes a person in our life where whatever we view, darshan jo hum kar rahe hain, that becomes righteous. It takes us to Samyak Gyan. So both, you can't, ये जस्ट हमारे समझने के लिए ये दो अलग अलग शब्द दिए गए हैं. देखा जाए तो ज्ञान के साथ ही दर्शन आता है और दर्शन के साथ ही ज्ञान आता है. दोनों में से किसी एक को हम ऊपर नीचे नहीं कर सकते. अब बात ये है कि we are living in a family. We are connected with so many different societies. We have different family members who have different perceptions to live their life. We have people around us. Everywhere there is, like, an overflow of knowledge. There is an overflow of new things coming our way. Then we have different professions. We have different people coming from different mindsets, different backgrounds, different family backgrounds, and of course, different religious backgrounds also, and different spiritual backgrounds also. And each and every person has a frequency of his or her own frequency. Then what happens is we somewhere get distracted. What is right and what is wrong? The main thing is we get distracted. What is right? What is wrong? Everything seems to be right. Here, our right understanding, our doubtless understanding, that helps us. How? Whatever you listen, whatever you read, whatever you have been getting through your tradition, you have an understanding of your own. Even if you buy a shirt, you look into different things. It's quality, it's durability, it's cost, from which brand are you taking? Is it like, you should take it or not? And even if it is a local brand, you don't know anything about the brand, you haven't seen that brand before, but even then you trust your instincts, you trust your vision, you trust your experience, and you just take into the cloth and the fitting and the color and the everything, and you go ahead. You go ahead on these things, and then you can find whether it is right for you or not. Then why does it comes, why is it the case in case of spirituality and religion that whatever is told to you, we just need to blindly follow it? Why don't we question ourselves? Why don't we question? Again, understand, doubts and curiosities, they are fine. They are fine. Our scriptures are full of these questions. Our scriptures are full of these questions. Gautam Swami is asking Prabhu Mahavir. Jambu Swami is asking Sudharma Swami. And it is full of question because Prabhu and the acharyas, they have given answers in various dimensions. Each and every disciple or the sadhak, he or she had his own understanding. Some were a little bit, some were a very deep one. Some sadhaks, they were on this quest for knowledge. Some were simple, pure bhakt. And these bhakt, they didn't have this, the intellectual seed within them. They weren't they had this quest to know and understand and read all the scriptures. But even then, just by bhakti, they attained the charam lakshya, the ultimate goal, that is moksha, the nirvana. Again, there were some sadhaks who just meditated. They just went deeper and deeper. And Viraat Guruji always used to say, whatever branch you choose, it can be math, it can be geography, it can be astrology, it can be any branch of, the academics or art or any branch of knowing, researching, and you will reach to its ultimate goal. We have these examples in our Shastras, Elaichi Kumar, he attained Keval Gyan while dancing. And only a dancer, a true dancer, can understand how Elaichi Kumar could have could have attained that Keval Gyan while dancing. Even that is a path to liberate oneself. You just need to go deeper and deeper and deeper and we just need to go deeper and deeper into that subject. And that depth, yes, you will have doubts, you will have fears, you will have curiosities. Put your curiosities forward. Just be, very strong, very, thirsty for that knowledge. Yes, I want question to my answers. And believe me, you will get answers, because this universe, when you project, science has proved that whatever you think, whatever you project in this universe, whenever it will find frequencies of that same wavelength, same, the waves, it will connect, and it will connect to the people who can really answer you. But that frequency needs to be intensified. It is simple science, simple physics. You can ask any youngster who is into physics, and he can just give you this answer, by wave theory or by quantum theory. They will give you the answers by. So whatever we are projecting, whatever जो भाव हमारे अंदर उठ रहे हैं, भाव, the first thing, the capability, the potential of soul, the potential of our soul is भाव करना. भाव का कोई बहुत perfect English word है नहीं. It is not feeling, because feeling is again driven by emotions, which is driven by our mind. So it is not feeling. It is the first, which just sprinkles from our soul without any background, without any experience. That is bhav. And again, now, how to move ahead on this journey? So there are many ways. Let's talk about a few. Yesterday, we were talking about Karemi Bhante, the part of Karemi Bhante. And in Pratikraman, how do we use these 4 words? Nisihi, Michhami Dukkanam, Kamat Kamna, and Appanam Vosara. So these 4 words were to detach you. All these 4 words, they are used in different conditions, like Nisihi. Any emotion, any impulse, any place, any activity, any person you want to disconnect, just take 3 deep breaths, forceful exhaling, and Nissihi. Nissihi means nikal ja. No entry for new thoughts, no entry for, whatever you have left behind for the past. So Nissihi is always disconnecting from the scenario, from the emotions. Like if a person has practiced Nissihi, and even if, the anger is going to pounce on him and he's going to lose his control, at that moment, if it takes, the breath and leaves it with force, he will disconnect. Why? It's simple as, like, you are driving a car and you have 3 speed breakers. So what are you going to do? You will slow down your car. And if there are speed breakers, you will surely, for a moment, you will become attentive on that speed breaker. So Nissihi serves as a speed breaker for the flow and the overflow of your thoughts. Michhami Dukkanam, to disconnect from the future results of what misdeeds you have connected or created or involved or indulged with in the past. How to live it today again, but this time with attentiveness and awareness, without disconnecting with the incident, and with complete strong willpower, just disconnect. Now what will happen is, the future which was connected with that particular past and present, now you have attentively put just as a hurdle, an obstacle, and now it won't take pass. Now it won't structure. Now it won't take, birth in the future. Kammat kamna means accepting as is, unconditional. Dimag lagana hi nahi. The problem is, whatever comes forward, we just want it to make the best. Our children, they should be the best. Whatever means religious activities we are doing, they should be the best. And in this, the circle of being the best and means not, we just want to be the best, and we want everything surrounding us to be according to us and to be favorable to us. And that is why what happens is we have expectations and they are not fulfilled, and this becomes a vicious circle. Simplest is, fine, I won't put my energy into that. I accept it, whatever it is and however it is. The fourth one, apam vosirami, whatever was vibhavatma, which was not the inherent nature of my soul. All those feelings, impulses, anxiousness, emotions, memories, all the information, the unnecessary things gathered in me, I disconnect with, not only disconnect, I just dissociate them from myself. These were, the keys of detachment, creating space within us. Now, the thing is, how do we gain? How do we gain knowledge? How do we gain the right perception, the right understanding? How do we become a seeker? Yesterday, like I told you an example, that I am an example when my guru gave me his knowledge without words. How did it happen? We have a very beautiful word in our Jain darshan, which has been practiced right from Prabhu Rishabh. You must have heard this word, Pajuasami, Pariyupasana. What does this mean? Pajuasami means to sit beside your guru. आप कहते हो ना, हम गुरु की पर्युपासना करते हैं. कैसे करते हैं? When you do in Sthanakvasi, when you speak about Tikkuto Ayahinam Payahinam Karemi, in the end you say Vandami Namam Sami Sakaremi Sammanimi Kallanam Manglam Devyam Cheyam Pajuasa. मैं आपकी परियुपासना करता हूं. That means I am completely, I surrender myself. What does that mean? Surrender? That means I surrender my ego. I surrender all that is me. I surrender my me in your aura. And when we surrender ourselves completely to our guru and to anyone who is knowledgeable, who is an enlightened person, just being in his aura gives us the qualities what he has. And the second thing is pradakshina, parikrama, what we were talking yesterday. और हम बोलते भी हैं, हम बोलते हैं लेकिन करते नहीं हैं. We just speak, but we don't do it. In Sthanakvasi Parambara, yes, when you go to temple, you circumambulate the Pratimaji, aparikrama karte ho. Kyun karte ho? It's a very simple scientific thing. It's a very simple physics. Anything, it flows from a higher level to lower level. Charge, it flows from a higher level to lower level. So who is higher in this case? Obviously Guru. The word is Guru. And uska Hindi word है लघु. लघु means बहुत छोटा सा. Very small, minute, tiny. And Guru means the big, the Viraat, the Almighty, you can say. The very strong. Now, that Guru, it can be a Tirthankar, it can be an Acharya, it can be a Sadhu, it can be anybody who is giving you knowledge. And yes, he or she is on a higher frequency than us. That is Guru, they are Laghu. We are lagu, we are small. So what happens is, you must have heard this process of creating magnets. You must have heard about this process of electromagnetic induction. So how is a magnet prepared? What do they do is very simple. They take an iron piece and put it into the very strong magnetic, the electromagnetic field of an electromagnet. And what do? They just revolve it in that electromagnetic field. And that iron piece is turned into a magnet itself. That iron piece is turned into a magnet itself. This is the science behind the parikrama. We who have a very low frequency aura, when we enter into that high frequency aura of our Guru, of our Tirthankar, of our Prabhu, what happens is our impurities are automatically shed off. And when we do this parikrama, the minimum is 3 times parikrama. The minimum is 3 times parikrama. And when we do this parikrama, our impurities are shed off, and the qualities, the stronger qualities of Guru, they start getting, transferred to us. And that is why this parikrama is followed in almost all the religions. You just go to a Parsi temple, they also do the parikrama of Agni. If you go to a Gurudwara, they do the parikrama of Guru Granth Sahib. Muslims, wo jo mazar or the Quran, they do the parikrama. Hindus, they do parikrama in their temples. So everywhere, this parikrama is followed. Even you can see in our universe, Earth, it gains energy. It revolves around the sun. Moon, it gains energy from the Earth. And the satellite revolves around the Earth. And every satellite which is sent into space, what do they have to do? First, they will gain energy by revolving around the Earth. So this parikrama and paryupasna, pajuasami, these two words, if actually practiced, they can create wonders. Somebody has asked me this question, that what was the mode of communication with your Guru? It was silence. It was silence. And I remember, because I was a person who was, very much into this words and teaching and books and all. And somehow I understood everything, and I used to write a lot and do this and that. So just by being besides him and doing this bhav parikrama, here I am. And this can just be experienced. And you can experience it in your day-to-day life also. Look, there are students who want this particular course to be done. What are their thoughts revolving around? Day, night, eating, sleeping. They are just revolving around that particular degree, what they want to do. Those who are in their business, what is there in the center of your thoughts? Moment, morning and evening. What are your thoughts revolving around? So each and everyone is doing this parikrama, but of course of different things. And that's why they are getting it. That's why if it's a scientist and he's into some research, you just ask that scientist, and you just ask the relatives or the family members of that scientist or that researcher, what will they tell you? Morning, evening, he just can't see anything. Whatever he sees, he speaks, he does, is just his research. So what is the center of his thoughts revolving around? That is that research, that answer, what he is searching for. So in this spiritual world, if we are seeking answers, whom do we need to circumambulate? किसकी परिक्रमा करनी है हमें? उनकी जो ये आंसर्स जानते. Easy way out. Easy way out. भक्त बन जाओ, आसान. And remember, this bhakta word is also very beautiful. Bhakta means bhag, part. He declares himself that I am a part of you. Do whatever you want. Meera didn't ask Krishna before loving him, before declaring him as his husband. She didn't ask a word. And just by dancing, she gained that ultimate. So this is the, just this moment, parikrama, this paryupasana. We like hearing all those things, and we just want to, juggle our theories. Is this possible in today's world? ये तो पांचवा आरा चल रहा है, अभी तो मोक्ष ही बंद हो गया, and all these sorts of different excuses we get. No. We need to, just push yourself. बाकी सब चीजें भूल जाओ, and you will get this. So this parikrama and pajuasami, paryupasana, these two are different things. हम बैठे तो सही. We need to surrender our ego. We need to surrender our so-called, belief systems if we want to gain something. But what happens with us is normally that we don't want to give up what we have. We don't want to give even a bit of it. We don't want to change even a bit of it. And we just want ourselves. We just want ourselves to be a part of it. And that makes all the difference. So once we surrender, we create space within us so that Guru can enter our lives. Then we can move ahead. Now, moving ahead, there is some question regarding Sudarshan and Arjun Mali. Very interesting, because this is connected to this aura and parikrama. So I would take that question. The story, what we hear in Antakad Dashan Sutra, it says that there was this simple guy who was a gardener, who was a florist, and he used to, worship a yaksh. He used to worship a yaksh, and he was a very simple guy. He and his wife, he used to worship that yaksh, and he used to go there. And that yaksh, his family from like ages, from like, his parents and his grandparents, and they all used to worship that yaksh. So one day what happened was that there were this six people who were like, they were being given special powers by the king because they had helped sometime. So these six people, they were all doing whatever they wanted to, and they had their terror in the city. And once they saw this Arjun Mali and her wife, and they just tied Arjun Mali, and they sexually abused and raped his wife in front of him. And he felt very bad. Anybody with the scene, he or she feels bad. So what this Arjun Mali did was, he just invited in his moments of grief, the deep grief, that, oh Yaksha, I have been worshipping you from ages and ages, and you can't even help me in this moment. Why should I worship you? You can't help me and my wife. And that Yaksh, on the invitation of Arjun Mali, entered his body, and he killed those six people and this seventh lady, means his wife, his own wife, because now Arjun Mali is not Arjun Mali. Arjun Mali is now being, directed, or being like matlab a pura prabhav is means the complete influence is of the yaksh. Now Arjun Mali has not got a mind of his own. His mind, his emotions or the heart, they are very weak in front of Arjun Mali, that yaksh. And that yaksh, in the body of Arjun Mali, he forgot that this lady was his wife. Whenever these impulses, these excitements, they enter our mind, we forget every relation. We forget what is right and what is wrong. And from that day, Arjun Mali started killing these 7 people every day. There was a terror in the city, and nobody crossed that path. Now Arjun Mali's body is of Arjun Mali, but everything is yaksh. He is there. He is into his body. When Prabhu Mahavir came into that city, Sudarshan, he was a bhakt. He was a bhakt of Prabhu Mahavir. And how could he miss this opportunity? Guru khud chal ke dwar pe aaye. How could he miss this opportunity? All fears discarded. His goal was his Guru. I just want to be in the aura of my Guru. Now, just understand, it is all the case of aura. Now, this Sudarshan, he is a sadhak. He has been practicing what Mahavir has been teaching. No fear, no enmity, no bad feelings, nothing. His only goal was, I just want to be in the vicinity of my Guru. I just want to view him with my eyes. I just want to be there. And he started. And when he came, obviously, for a second, Sudarshan thought that maybe this is my last moment. So he just sat there. When Arjun Mali, the yaksh in the body of Arjun Mali, was approaching, what did Sudarshan do? He just sat there. Nothing in the mind. Nor did he want to do anything. Nor did he want to kill. Nor did he want to use his powers that, oh God, oh Mahavir, please save me from Arjun Mali. Remember, no prayer of this sort. He simply thought, maybe I die at this moment. So he went into his sadhana, that is the last moment sadhana of Santhara, and he sat there. He just, from that very place, he just bowed down to his Guru, that is Mahavir Swami. He surrendered himself to his Guru, that maybe I meet you or I won't meet you. And his aura was so strong. Why? Because it was connected to Mahavir Swami. Understand this thing. I don't think so many people would have went to this details. We just hear a story. Sudarshan को देखते ही अर्जुन माली का सब वो निकल गया and वो प्रभु के पास गया, दीक्षा हो गई, चमत्कार हो गया. This miracle, how do these miracles happen? They don't happen on their own. The willpower of a person makes them happen. The surrender of a bhakt makes them happen. Guru doesn't show his miracles. Mahavir didn't show his miracles. When this yaksh, obviously his aura was of a killer. His aura was of a murderer. His aura had all the negative feelings which would have been there. The feelings of hatred, the feelings of animosity, all those negative feelings. When he came near Sudarshan, the aura was so strong that the yaksh had to leave Arjun Mali's body. And Arjun Mali saw something very miraculous happening. Now, who are you? And where are you going to? He took him to Mahavir. And Mahavir gave him, जो हम कहते हैं ना, गुरु शिष्य को दृष्टि देता है. Mahavir gave him that knowledge, that perception, and he took Diksha. And उसके आगे की story हम कोई सुनते ही नहीं है. That is the most important part of the story. And what is that? That for 6 months, Arjun Mali took permission from Prabhu Mahavi and told that I want to be in this city. I want to go between those people on the parna of my 2 days upvas, means bela kiya tha unhone. For 6 months, every third day for his parna, he used to go into the city. Now imagine a person who has murdered somebody's parents, somebody's son, somebody's friend, somebody's husband. Will people give him food just because he's a sadhu? Will people give him? No, you can just go through the Antagar Dasham Sutra, it's mentioned. He was hit, he was beaten, he was, means, all sorts of disrespect which can be possible. But Arjun Mali tolerated, accepted everything with peace, without even responding, without even, reasoning. Look, now I have become a sadhu, I have left my past behind. Nothing. He accepted everything with love because he understood that they can just see the dress changed. They can't see the transformed Arjun Mali. Now, the thing, what we need to understand here is, and yes, I would complete the story at the end of about 6 months. He completed his sadhana and he attained Keval Gyan and he was liberated from just 6 months. Now comes a question. A murderer of about more than 1,000 people, just by changing his way of knowledge, his understanding, his perception, and by accepting whatever comes his way, by disconnecting from his past, by, just by knowing all the psyches of his past, he can attain Keval Gyan. He can attain Keval Gyan and get liberated. So this is the power of Pratikraman. This is the power of tapasya. And this tapasya is not only about Bela Upvas karna. Tapasya, the real tapasya was that parna. Whatever he got. Sometimes he didn't even got food for parna. Sometimes he didn't got water. People used to spit into his patra. He didn't get. He would bleed. But he tolerated without any complaints, without even asking help from anyone. Now, what we need to understand here is, one has called the person, he connected with the Yaksh who had bad intentions. And that is why he overpowered him. But when he understood this, he changed. Now he got connected to Prabhu Mahavi. Now he entered the aura of Prabhu Mahavi. And you can see the miraculous change. So it is again, whom do we call? Who is at the center of our thoughts, our beliefs? And that makes all the change. There is a question, should we do external or internal tap for faster karma nirjara? There is nothing like faster karma nirjara. There are no ninja techniques. Yes, one is with what intensity you are doing those tapasya. It can be a simple tapasya, tapasya, leave apart what you are doing, going into those 12 types of tapasya. आप एक simple देखो, आज के जमाने की problems भी बड़ी बड़ी है ना? आप एक tapasya कर लो. चाहे मुझे जो मेरे सोशल मीडिया पर, इन एनी फॉर्म ऑफ सोशल मीडिया, चाहे जो कमेंट करे, मेरे रियल लाइफ में whoever comments me verbally or by texting or by any other method, whether on social media or whether one to one, I am not going to react. I am not going to react whether anything is favorable or unfavorable. I am not going to react in any case. ये एक तपस्या शुरू कर दीजिए. It sounds very easy, you know. It sounds very easy, but when you go through it, now you will understand. And whenever you face difficulties, you can always connect with. You can always, because I started like this. Guruji used to tell me that, okay, fine, you need to work on this point. Now, this is the line of a bhajan. You just keep on repeating. I remember I started doing this. चुक रहा है कर्ज सारा, हो रहा आनंद है. चुक रहा है कर्ज सारा, हो रहा आनंद है. जिंदगी बस और क्या, मुस्कुराता छंद. I started. भूल हो कोई कि मुझको कुछ सता पाती नहीं. No matter who, whatever is spoken by somebody or mistakes, I am uninfluenced. I used to, continuously chant it like a mantra. And after some time, I realized actually the reactions have gone away. So just focus on the solutions rather than on the problem itself. Just focus what you can do. And that tapasya, yes, it will help you in Karma Nirjara. And moreover, understand one thing. This is, the secret. Whenever incidents come unexpectedly in front of us, unpredictable, life is unpredictable. And whenever instances come, we are in the habit of reacting. मजे से जियो, ठीक है, क्या फर्क पड़ गया, क्या हो गया? What will happen then? You won't have new karma bandhan. That incident came into your life, that person came into your life because you had invited. It is the result of your karmas. Now, instead of, this is past karma, I have to go through this, keep on like, I can't change this. Yes, we can change this. If there is a problem, if there is a hurdle, if there is an obstacle, fine, thank you, you came in my way. Now that you have come, you are bound to leave. You will not come again. What is correct? अगर कोई समस्या आ ही गई है तो समझ लीजिए कि इसका टाइम आ गया था, ये जाने के लिए ही आए. If any problem has come, it has a solution within, and it has come on the screen. That means it has to go. Now I have changed my perception. That problem or obstacle which could have demotivated me, which could have depressed me, which could have stopped me from my success, I just said thank you and I moved ahead. Fine, it's good enough. It's good enough. And this is how Karma Nirjara happens. And this is the secret how new Karma Bandhan won't happen. This is the secret how new Karma Bandhan won't happen. Like, for example, it was way back when I connected with Neelamji. Neelamji, I suppose the last year or some way, she sent me a message and she liked, and I was like, okay, thank you. And if people want, I can do a session for you. वो भाव था. उसके बाद I didn't do anything. She didn't do anything. I don't know. I suppose sometimes I saw her in my question answer sessions, which I've been running through, means 2018. We have been some people from UK. They started this session, and I would send the link, and Neelamji can forward it everywhere. So 2018, we started a Zoom session. The time is fixed, the day is fixed, Sunday, 9 p.m. And it was a question answer session, and it has been running for about like 4 years now. Every Sunday, people join in and we answer. I forgot completely. One day, she just simply said, okay, can we have a session? Okay, fine, we can have. Now, new Karmandhan, what would be? That I would think in mind, oh, fine, these people like my session. Why not have more sessions? Then I would be popular. Then people need this. I should help them. Fine, if people need help, they will ask the universe and the guru powers there sitting in the universe. They will guide me and send people to me and we'll get connected. आप सबसे मिलकर अच्छा लगा. Thank you. We got connected. Maybe you must have asked these questions to some Guru Shakti, and I have become the medium to answer those questions. I have just become the medium, and I am enjoying being a medium. Now, no new Karmandhan. You are enjoying, I am also enjoying. We don't have any expectations with each other. We don't have any complaints with each other. कभी और मौका हुआ, प्रेम जागृत हुआ तो फिर मिल लेंगे. In this way, if we start enjoying each and every moment of our life, I really tell you, 50% of the problems within our relatives and family would be wiped off. And this is a secret. I suppose there are two more questions. What is the difference between Pravritti Marg and Nivritti Marg? Can we follow both together or follow Nivritti Marg only in this time cycle? You can follow both. Just understand, these 24 Tirthankar, हर बार 24 ही क्यों होते हैं? अनंत 24 ही सुना है हमने. We have heard this word, अनंत 24. ये हर बार 24 ही क्यों होते हैं? 26 क्यों नहीं होते? 25 क्यों नहीं होते? It's very simple. There are 24 pairs of chromosomes. And there are 24 possible ways of sadhana. And every Tirthankar gives a new way of sadhana. So these 24 Tirthankars, they all have a different sadhana pattern connected to them. And that is why there are 24. We have deep answers to that, but in very short, we need to understand. And Guruji used to, tell us that these 24 names and the lanchan they are connected with, all these are sadhana patterns. Only an enlightened person can decode that. He can decode. Two of them, Rishabdev Bhagwan and the last one, Mahavir. We are connected to these two. Now understand, Rishabh gave the Pravritti mark. The circle would be only completed when the Mahavir would give purely opposite mark of what was given by Rishabh. That is Pravritti, to indulge. Nivritti means to leave. To leave. Now, in this time cycle, we can go, but we cannot practice both at the same time. Who should practice Nivritti and who should practice Pravritti? It depends on the inner, personality, inner persona of an individual. A person who can, who can enjoy luxury, who can enjoy numerous, means infinite wealth, I would rather say, not numerous, who can just have this wealth in all kind of proportions, and yet he can remain detached from it. Even he can get liberated, just like Bharat Chakravarti. वो प्रवृत्ति मार्ग है. और एक बंदा जो हम कहेंगे गरीब है, उसके पास कुछ है ही नहीं, सब कुछ छूटा हुआ है ना. The desires, the expectations within, they are in bundles and loads. They need to be left. So both ultimately arrive at the same point, that is detachment. But here It is detachments from the possessions in the physical life also, means the physical belongings also. And here it is like enjoying everything, but remaining detached. But though both can't be followed by a same person at the same time, now he would go into conflict at every moment. So sadhana mark can be one. Whatever you choose, whatever you choose. It can be Mahavir's mark, it can be Parshanath's mark, it can be Rishabh's mark, it can be Mallinath's mark, it can be Arishnemi's mark, it can be anything. But it can be one at a time, not both. One last question, I suppose, is remained unanswered is, what are Bhagwan Mahavir Jain's scriptures thoughts on Aradhana a menstruating woman can perform? Is it segregated by Mandir Margi, example, no Murti Puja during this time versus Thanakvasi, or are these man-made rules? We just need to understand that about this, there is nothing given in the structures, but why is this followed? I will just give you the science behind it. The simple thing is that those acharyas and those sadhak and sadhus who practiced these, who wrote these, who practiced these sutras and this puja, and those souls which are connected with these various temples, the complete procedure going on in the temples, many of them now reside in the Devlok. And these souls who are now in this Dev Yoni, they are, very much, they are very much, they all take their food by the smell. And when it's a menstrual cycle, the aura of a lady becomes weak. It is very weak. And at that time, when the devs of, like, the first or the second level, or sometimes when they enter into this temple, and though, because they are not Samyaktvi Devta, they are not, they still have their own desires, and they still have their own shortcomings and their own impulses. So they might attack, or they might feel bad, or they get angry and all kind of impulses, because in Devyoni, all the emotions which the person left with this earth, they are going on and on and on. So what happens is they might attack the women, and the weak aura that might impact the whole surrounding. So it is advisable that do not read the sutras or the sacred text, and do not go to a temple. But yes, I would say that in this time period, because it is a sandhikal, something which is a part of your body is leaving your body, and that is the juncture. That is the joint, that is the juncture. And that juncture, at that point, if you go into knowing yourself, the dhyan, it would be very easy. But again, remember, no Dev ka ahvan, otherwise it can be the case just like the Arjunali. So be very, so it was like, all women would understand this differentiation, this thin line of inviting the divine powers or something, and may go into something wrong or right. So it was advised, keep yourself away from all these things, sit at home, don't enter into that aura of the temple. Otherwise, there will be several complications. So it's as simple. Yes, these are man-made rules, but made by those people who were really knowledgeable, enlightened, who went through this, who actually experienced these things. And we saw Virat Guruji, he could, communicate with these divine souls sometimes. And even he used to tell us. So that is the thing. But for your Atma Sadhana, this is not a hurdle like Pratikraman. It is purely an individual sadhana. It is no inviting and calling of the divine powers. You can do Pratikraman, you can do Samayik, you can, do meditation. But yes, when we talk about like Bhaktamar Path, We should not, when we talk about touching the sutras and reading it, we should not, because again, there are sentiments of those divine souls connected with it. They might get hurt. So just to, keep ourselves away from that, we restrict. So whatever is individual sadhana, without involving any kind of divine powers, that is advisable. Otherwise, it is not. I suppose I have covered all the questions.
Thank you very much.
And I suppose we are nearing to the, the time limit also we have. So if anybody has any questions or wants to share something, they can go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, if you have any question, yeah, please raise hand. I'll try to bring you on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, you can unmute yourself.
Actually, I think it will be a good idea to kind of share the screen with others if they have any feedback, if they want to have any comments to make. And for my part, I would say very enlightening. Thank you so much for your time and knowledge, and the knowledge your guru has imparted to you. I have certainly enjoyed it. And I must say that hopefully we will meet again shortly and arrange maybe on a monthly or a weekly basis, a weekend time frame, if the community wants it. And thank you so much. And Neelam and Anshul, thank you very much for bringing Sadhika ji to us.
Thank you, everyone. It is all Guru Kripa, and I would really say that there was quest within you, that you must have prayed to these Guru powers, and all these Guru powers, they create this conspiracy to so that we people can meet here. And thanks to this technology, ये कलयुग तो सबसे अच्छी चीज है. ये कल युग है. Kal means the parts of a motor, So this is, yes, technical yoga, and this technical yoga is the best one. Why? Because we are in the human life, in this life, and we can get liberated. So I suppose this is the best part. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to the Zoom who is connecting us.
It's definitely. At this point, I do have the lines open for everyone. If anybody else would like to make any comment, would like to share anything. And I'm also, if you have your videos on, I think you're all now visible on YouTube. Anybody wants to add anything?
And I would be actually very happy if this younger generation connects. Let them come with their questions. I don't want that they should be like religious enough or they should know. Let them come, because they are raw slates, They have this urge to know. They can question anything. And if you can arrange something like that, let it be like 5-year-old kid, it can be 10-year-old kid, it can be, because I have questions sometimes. Small kids entering our sessions and asking, Guru Ma, hum pachkan tod de to paap lagta hai kya? And all sorts, hai na? Pehle murgi aayi ki panda aaya. All sorts of questions, they come up, this I had this girl who said, ye aisa kyun hota hai? Pichli baar to meri mama, means my mother's birthday wasn't in the Paryushan, and now it has come in the Paryushan. So how does this Paryushan change its dates? Children have all kinds of questions. So let them come up. Let them come up. I would be happy if children can connect, and every time we can just share a small story, and then they can have their questions.
Yeah, sure. As a reminder, I think today's recording, which we have, I think I've already put the link in the chat. On the same channel, we'll also post the yesterday's recording as well. So you'll be able to go back and hear and revise what we heard from Sadhika ji.
And yes, anytime you can post questions to me. You can just have my number on the chat screen. I'll just put it. And any questions you have, you can send me personally also, and I would try and, answer if I can in audios. Or if you wish to, you can join our weekly question answer session if it is possible for you. Otherwise, you can just post the question into that particular group, which I would surely add, and then I would answer it in the session, and I would send the recording in the group. So it would be easier for you. And you can connect on our social media, Charam Mangal, which I have at my the logo at the back. So you can connect and you can go through the daily Hindi and English Pratikraman. It's a mixture of Hindi and English. So everyday Pratikraman, you can go through it. Anytime you can go through it, and small experiments through pravachan, you can go through it. And that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry. It's
sure.
Yeah.
No. It's fine.
That is about meditation. You said it's like an individual sadhana, but I come to two friends. They're very young, means just meditation. Nobody taught him. They just started doing meditation and they just started enjoying it. And they had started experiencing that they get connected to a different world where they can enter some place. And they did tell me that they just enjoy, they want to be for hours in the meditation. They come back to the world. But now when I talk to them, they said, oh, we stopped it. We stopped the meditation. They don't do any meditation. They got scared? Is there any something which they did, now they don't want to even do meditation at all? Or what is, it's a good process for other people to know that you start doing meditation and you stop suddenly? Why this happened?
I am not very sure if those persons were in front of me, I could have answered it more nicely. But yes, because, when somebody else narrates the things, it is something different. And when a person narrates himself, the thing which he is not speaking by his words, we can connect to them also. But whatever you have narrated, what I can assume is, I am not saying it's correct, what I can assume is, Jain Darshan mein aapne suna hoga, you must have heard this two words, upsarg parishay. You must have heard that when Tirthankar and these enlightened ones, the Keval Gyanis, when they are on their path to liberation or their path to moksha, when they are in their dhyan, they get this upsarg and parishay. You must have heard, you must have heard all these things, these depictions also. So what is this upsarg and parishay? When one goes into deep meditation, sarg means nature. Sarg means nature, and upsarg is the one which is inside and connected with it. So yes, you are right. What they told, that we entered some other world, and that we don't know whether that world, that universe actually existed, or it was just a mental illusion or hallucination, and whatever it was, but what they experienced, that was real. That was for sure real. And when because they just started and they didn't have a guru, one who can guide them. So that those upsarg and those what they saw and what they experienced, they were afraid of. They didn't knew how to, free themselves from that particular thing. What they did was they started enjoying that. But what Jain Darshan says is, when you go into these, when things are favorable and when things are unfavorable, in both cases, you just be a viewer and observer. And often Guruvarya Shriji, when we used to share our experiences of this meditation and all these scenes and these things, she used to tell us, okay, fine, you've told me, now forget it. Because if you start, means, enjoying it, what will happen is your journey, which should have been like upward, vertical, it would become horizontal and it would stop. So there are many more things to come. So here is, where we need a guru who can know where we are moving. Because we knew our Virat Guruji, we had the experiences with him. He could read even our dreams. And we were like, we were like very childish in front of it. And we used to say, what is this, Guruji? There is nothing like personal left in our lives. You can even read our thoughts and it means dreams. And even when he is like far away from us into altogether a different state and a different city. But he used to tell us, you one day you had this dream and you got, and we were surprised. We didn't tell anyone. So what happened with them was that they were fear and afraid. They didn't knew what to do. Now what ahead? Iske aage kya? And that is why they stopped. So what they needed was somebody, a very neutral and unbiased guru who has reached those levels of, dhyan sadhana. Then they must have gone ahead of that.
Yeah, no, means today I watched the young. Okay. So those things can happen to them too. So know that meditation, there can be some fears come, or you may enter. Yes. So then you have to learn how to guide yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes there are things, what happens is when we are there, this mind of ours, of this world, it is there with us. It is there with us. So what happens is we try to answer and, find out the reality behind those scenes with the mindset and with the information what we have gathered here.
Right.
Right? Like I can just give you an example. Like we think any devta, right? So what do we visualize? The most beautiful male or the most beautiful female as a Devi with all this, the ornaments and the beautiful hair and all kind of like the most beautiful person with all kind of prosperity and the smile and the beautiful eyes and everything, the light generating from that. What is this? This is just human imagination. But if you actually see the Devatas, you could not, means you can't even imagine what would they look like. Yeah, like for the Narak also. For the Narak also, we say, you would have this hot, this huge oil tanks, and you would be like put into that. All these, why a human can imagine is the worst and the worst injury or the pain you can feel is when you are into a boiling hot oil and you are like, fried into that. So that is the amount of pain, the misery you would go. It is not that you would be actually fried in those big tanks of oil. What does it refers to is the pain you will feel or you would experience or you would go through is that misery. That misery where your hand will be cut into so many pieces that you can't even imagine of. So that pain, that misery, that is being depicted in this man. Whether this happens or not, nobody knows. It is just the peaks of pain.
I would like to follow up on my question about the communication mode from the guru to yourself. You mentioned silence. I didn't quite understand how the silence helped you learn everything.
Oh, how can I answer this? It is as simple. You have to be in the vicinity of a guru, shed all your egos, and then only it can happen. And I am experimenting, and I really tell you, because I am there and I am not boasting anything. I haven't read much of the scriptures. It's just by being with my guru, sometimes I speak even those words which I myself am listening. I sometimes those things come out. It is just a mere experience. It is not any kind of science. And if you really want to understand it by science, you can just understand it in this way. These are, auras connecting. This is just the quantas of energy being transferred from one state to another physical state. Physics can explain you. I am not that very good at physics, but if you really go and ask a physicist, he would be able to explain. It's as simple as like transference of electrons from one atom to another atom. Because what we understand is knowledge in words, but I would say that is more of information. That is more of information. But what I experienced was something experiential. And that is why it's purely experience. It's purely.
Hard to explain.
Hard to explain. इसी के लिए महावीर ने एक महावीर means everywhere what we find in our sutras is empty out, empty out, empty out. So when we empty out, we need to create a space within us so that Guru can enter. We need to create a space. And how do we create that space? All that is me, mine, shedding off those. And I know I was a very egoistic person, very aggressive person. And if like before 2009, if you can, if somebody can see my photographs and meet my family members, they used to say, this girl, she's full of aggression. She hasn't even learned to like bow down. Jukna kabhi nahi seekha. I hardly used to smile. And now when people meet me, they ask me, do you even get angry sometimes? And what do I tell them? That what happened? And this is not only means initial years, I actually didn't understand what is going on within me. It only happened when some people who were actually learned people, and when they used to see me, they had seen me after like 3 years, they used to tell me, what happened in these past 3 years? Something happened. Did you get a guru? Did you meet a guru? Something has changed in you. So this is purely an experience. I am so sorry, but this is not, this something can't be explained by words. And again, one more example I can give you is like Sadhviji, Charamshriji, who is within our group. And yes, the most example of Viraat Guruji, his means his face or the physical identity, his facial identity was different. But when he started bhakti of Shanti Gurudev, his means, he started resembling his guru. He started, his face completely changed. And this Sadhvi Charam Shriji, from the day of her Diksha till 2020, for 18 years, she was in deep silence, mourn. And young children used to connect with her like they have found the Guru, and they could understand her language of silence, and they used to do things accordingly. What did they understand and how did they understand? It was a purely communication between a guru and a shishya. But because the children were innocent, they didn't have these, the theories of do's and don'ts, and they didn't have any language. And I have not met only one or two, means many students, many these kids. And she was purely silent. She didn't even used to write or make actions. She was just smiling, and her aura was so strong that children used to come and sit for hours with her. the aura of love, the aura of silence. And this happened.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jai Ho.
I guess we have taken more than we asked for your time. So
It's
thank
all
you very
fine.
much.
Thank you. So can we go for Mangal Part?
Yes.
Okay. Chattari Mangalam, Aranta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Keli Panattam, Dhammam Mangalam, Chattari Loguttama, Arhanta Loguttama, Siddha Loguttama, Sahu Loguttama, Kevali Panattu, Dhammo Loguttamo, Chattari Sarnam Pavachami, Arhante Sarnam Pavachami, Siddhe Sarnam Pavachami, Sahu Sarnam Pavachami, Kevali Panattam, Dhammam Sarnam Pavachami, आप फूलो फलो हो जिंदगी मखमल मुलायम आपकी हर खुशी पे है हमारी जान सदके दुआ करते हैं चुपचाप दिल की थाप से हम रहे जाते नवाजे हर घड़ी अरमान सबके अमन और चैन से गुजरे आपका वक्त सारा रुख खिलती रहे यूं रूह की मुस्कान खुल के रुख पे खिलती रहे यूं रूह की मुस्कान खुल के जय हो कल्याण हो जय हो thank you everyone
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, thank you very much, Sadhika ji. So like a reminder, I think we have the link posted in the chat. We will also send a follow-up email with the links. In the email that we sent out yesterday too, with the reminder, there was the website for Sadhika ji. So like you said, you could connect with her directly there and take advantage of her knowledge. Once again, on behalf of International Jain Sangh and all of us, Sadhika ji, thank you so much for taking precious time out of your daily schedule and imparting.
thank you jai ho
Yeah.
Jai.
Jai Jinesh. Thank you all.
thank you